Hey guys, it is Drama Queen 129 and welcome back to another episode of Eden asterisk. So I went back and watched my other video, which sorry for the wait, and I reviewed all of the voices I did for the characters, so it should be all good and I should have everything remembered. So let's get into it. Do you still remember what happened 7 years ago? 7 years ago. Oh, what the hell is this? The frustration of only being able to cry out. The sensation of a large, heavy fist sinking into my face with a thick thud. A back trailing off into the distance and tiny footsteps pushing through the grass. I haven't forgotten. 7 years is far too short to forget everything. I returned to stare. No matter how sharp his glare, my heart would not sway. Then why don't you pull out your gun, though I'm sure it won't be enough to satisfy you even if you kill me at this point. Didn't you live this day in order to stand before me and accomplish that? Oh, did you put in a request for me thinking you'd be killed? You're certainly something. I bet I couldn't even lay a hand on you now, much less hit you. I'm the military's attack dog, the same as you. Any soldier would shoot if given the order. But on the other hand, we couldn't shoot without an order. That's how a trained soldier behaved. The major should have been aware of that. Forget what I just asked. It's a bad habit of mine to run my mouth about things unrelated to duties. It really is a bad habit. Sorry, wrong voice. You said it. Before I knew it, his eyes had become as sluggish as before. Well then, please excuse me. Yeah. Ooh, look at that swerve, that turn. I saluted, and as I went to turn, I halted. Major? What is it? What in the world are they researching here? Oh, I forgot to mention something important. Sorry about that. He clapped his hands together and grinned. His sloppiness might have been the reason he was stuck at this current rank. Even I don't know in great detail. I probably wouldn't understand even if they told me, so I'll keep it simple. She was a key figure in the development of the colony ships, and now she's running data analysis on the ones that are currently in service. Development of the colony ships? Wait just a second. A key figure in the development of the colony ships? He couldn't mean... Not surprising. You catch on fast, Ryou. He grinned fearlessly. This is where she lives. Oh shit. The door was closed quietly and Inaba leaned back in his chair. As he brushed the stubble beneath his chin, he thought to himself, he's grown quite a bit. That was only natural. After all, Inaba had last met Ryou Haruna roughly 7 years ago. You could safely say Ryou was still young at the time. In fact, one could say he was young even now. However, those eyes of his, they were no longer the eyes of a young man, but of a soldier who had survived numerous battles. Inaba lazily tapped on the laptop on his desk. He was reading through the data on Ryou Haruna that had been forwarded to him from headquarters. Damn, this boy's got good grades. Warrant Officer Ryou Haruna, birthplace Japan. He enlisted in the United Army 7 years ago and fought against the Southern Union, which had declined an alliance with the unified government. Though exceedingly underage when he enlisted, he became an expert marksman and was later designated as a sniper. For 3 years he fought in various skirmishes and received multiple commendations for his performance. He was given the rank of corporal around the time the war with the Southern Union ended and left his unit to return to his home country. With the decline in the Army's 10th Special Forces Unit, which specialized in anti-terrorism, he enlisted in the newly established Unit 13, which went by the alias GAT. As a member of the entry team, he was able to achieve many accolades, primarily for his role in eliminating anti-government guerrilla forces. Among GAT's accomplishments was the neutralization of the greatest threat from the guerrilla forces, the anti-immigration organization, the Dawn Stars. He was also instrumental in the elimination of the serial bomber, Kizu, rescued the abducted daughter of the vice president of the Ministry of Domestic Affairs, and secured Diet member Huzen Tioru, ringleader of the Section 7 incident. He volunteered for all the bloodiest battles of recent years and was accepted into the Special Forces, exempt from evaluation thanks to his achievements. Terrific. He had checked this data many times before, but it was a career that gave him chills every time he read it. Ryou Haruna had probably handled many assignments not kept in the official records since joining the Special Forces. He appeared to be a normal young man, yet there was no doubt that Ryou was a capable soldier. Even with how unorganized the military was at present, advancing from private to warrant officer in such a scant few years was unprecedented. But what in the world have you seen with those eyes, Ryou Haruna? I like how I naturally squint as I'm reading this. Inaba sighed. The one who dragged Ryou into the military 7 years ago was none other than Inaba. Of course, Ryou had decided to enlist on his own. Inaba just so happened to help push his paperwork through. Ryou did not meet the age requirements, so Inaba fabricated his documents and arranged for him to be assigned under a command he knew to be capable. That was all. But that decision stained the once pure young man's hands in blood. That solitary fact was enough to ensure Inaba a place in hell. Damn. Well, it doesn't matter if I pile on another sin or two now. What is he trying to say? Inaba smiled bitterly and reached for a whiskey bottle on his desk. Jam, going straight for the whiskey, man?
Ah, you've come out.
I heard a lively voice as I left the office. When I turned around, the maid girl was jogging toward me from the other side of the hall with a light pitter-patter.
It looks like my timing is perfect. Certainly lucky if I do say so myself.
Didn't you have some work to do?
Yes, I finished and came back. I forgot to tell you something important.
Something important?
Yes, I may be a little clumsy, but I handle the majority of things quite well. I just tend to forget the most important things.
That must be difficult for you. It was inconsequential to me, though. So what was this most important thing?
My name is Elica.
Huh?
I forgot to introduce myself. Aren't I just horribly forgetful?
That's what it was? I already knew since Lavi had said her name before.
It is very important to introduce yourself. It is the first step to good communication.
Names aren't really worth worrying about. For that matter, maids aren't worth worrying about either. You asshole.
How cruel!
She shouted and tottered about.
I have lost my self-confidence. I can no longer go on as a maid.
It's nothing to get that depressed over.
Maybe I will become an angel in white starting tomorrow.
So anything goes? Maybe she was really just a girl wearing a maid's uniform.
That was just a joke.
Harsh.
On that note, your big sister would be quite pleased if you would tell her your own name.
Haruna, Warrant Officer Ryou Haruna. Calling herself my big sister caught me off guard. Was it because of her overly cheerful expression? It was hard to say her true age for sure, but she didn't look any older than me.
Ryou Haruna. Ryou then.
Wait. Aren't you being a little too friendly with someone you just met?
Does that trouble you?
Trouble, not particularly. The civilian girl shouldn't have to address me by rank, and it wouldn't be a strange way to refer to me if she did happen to be older. It wouldn't, but her intonation was just...
Okay then, Ryou should be fine.
She stared me down with a smile.
So then, Ryou, where are you headed now?
I have nothing more to do today, so I'm going to return to my room and rest.
Do you know where your room is?
No. It may have been written in the data the Major gave me, but I couldn't read that without loading it up on a computer somewhere.
Then I'll take you there. It is alright, I know where it is.
She smiled sweetly and began to walk. Hey, you.
Call me Elica. I do not mind if you address me informally.
Elica, then. Are you really a maid?
Yes, I am a maid, just as you see. Do you not like maids?
Not particularly.
And you consider yourself a man?
Oh, girl. Why did she suddenly snap?
You're being awfully discourteous to such a kind, beautiful maid. That will not do, Ryou.
Don't call yourself a beauty. Ooh, he's hating.
Unbelievable. Could it be you are displeased because my skirt is too long?
That wasn't the issue. Let's set that aside. About how many maids like you and other non-military personnel are there here?
Let me see. I'm the only maid, but there are about 20 kitchen or cleaning crew on staff. I suppose there are about 20 researchers as well.
I had heard that there were 120 soldiers, is that right?
While that is true on paper, I think the actual number fluctuates a bit.
I see. This house, no research facility, was a bigger structure than I had pictured, but that was still far too many people. If this place had 2 platoons or 30 infantry, it would have been more than enough. The military was short-handed everywhere nowadays, while this place was downright opulent. Ooh, that's a cool word. What the Major had said at the very end did not appear to be a joke. Beyond the door, contrary to my expectations, was a charmless, simple room.
You must have been thinking, what a normal room.
It's completely different from the entryway in the Major's office.
This east wing was built as an addition to garrison soldiers. The exterior and quarters matched the design of the main building, but it seems they didn't extend that luxury when it came to the rooms themselves.
I see. It was minimally furnished and couldn't be called spacious, but it was just a room to sleep in, so I had no complaints. This is a private room?
This room is typically for officers. There were no others available, and the Major said you should use it since there wasn't much difference between a second lieutenant and a warrant officer.
Just how sloppy is he? He used to say warrant officers and second lieutenants are completely different. A non-commissioned officer would normally have to enroll in officer training school and break through many obstacles before becoming an officer. Well, a private room was more comfortable, so I was thankful. She suddenly made a mysterious face and peered into my eyes.
You seem to be acquainted with Major Inaba in some way.
Somewhat. We last met quite a long time ago.
He didn't look like a soldier in the slightest back then.
I keep screwing up the voices. He didn't look like a soldier in the slightest back then, and he hasn't really changed. He's a strange man. I carelessly threw the bag I had been carrying on the floor.
Ah, that is not good! So violent!
There's nothing breakable in it. About the Major.
Yes?
No, it's nothing. Now why bring it up? Why had the Major requested me? I was grateful to be pulled away from my job as a teaching assistant at the academy after the unit dissolved. It didn't suit me well at all. But I did not understand why you would have me assigned as a guard at a remote research facility. No, maybe I should say used to not understand.
In my humble opinion... You are quite unusual yourself. I've seen many soldiers, but compared to the others, you are something else entirely.
Didn't we just meet today? What could she know about me from just that?
Come now, you mustn't speak that way to your elders.
Are you really older than me?
I assure you there is no doubt.
Well, they say you can't judge a woman's age by her appearance. Anyway, you helped me out a lot today. Thank you.
You do not need to thank me. I only did what I felt like doing. I've always been a bit too much of a busybody.
A very maid-like personality.
Yes.
She congenially showed me a soft smile.
If anything else should arise, you may summon me any time.
No, I do not think there will be anything else.
You're supposed to say, I hope we will get along in the future or something, even if it's a lie.
If I was unusual, this maid had to be as well. Everyone in the Force and Training Academy had been afraid of me and wouldn't get anywhere near me. Elica graciously bowed to 2 soldiers who had just come from a meeting as she walked through the halls. The soldiers passed her with relaxed expressions. Ryou Haruna was somehow different from these men, she thought. He was a young man with a bizarre ambiance. He seemed unsociable, but replied honestly when spoken to. He did not really seem like a soldier. But those eyes. That glint in his eyes was not something those who lived an ordinary life would possess. She may have gotten such a terribly unbalanced impression of him due to the fact his eyes were so out of the ordinary.
He is completely different from what I heard.
Perhaps one day he will appear before you. Elica remembered the words she had once been told. She never once imagined he would actually come to this research facility. Furthermore, that he would be the owner of such dreadful eyes. This is a man who may have lived through unspeakable scenes of carnage. Elica had seen many soldiers before. She understood just how different Ryou Haruna was. She let out a gentle sigh. The fact that a monster like him had been summoned must have meant that the time had come.
It's begun, Xion.
This research facility seemed to have plenty of energetic women. Elica and Labi might have been special cases, but those 2 certainly left an impression. Not worth worrying about. I whispered as I lay on my bed. A fresh smell emanated from the clean sheets. A smell I had forgotten a long time ago. Yet another thing that did not matter. What should be on my mind right now? I guess there was only that man, the Major. No. I came here for an assignment. Thinking of unnecessary things would only hinder my work. As long as I kept my mind on accomplishing the objective, everything would be fine. This was how I always handled my assignments, and it would be best if I continued to do so. Then maybe one day...
Warrant Officer Haruna, you here?
The door flung open wildly along with a piercing knock.
Hey, sorry about before. I went into a bit of a daze putting those two idiots through the ringer.
I think I'm doing the same voice. You have some blood on your fist. I got off my bed and put on my coat.
Huh? Oh, you're right. How unbecoming of me.
She laughed and wiped the blood on her sleeve. Seems like you were quite showy about it.
It's something of a game we play. This sort of thing happens a lot.
This place really was dangerous, wasn't it?
So Miss Elica guided you?
That woman really will take good care of anyone.
She shouldn't get involved with soldiers, though.
I agree. Soldiers were creatures which would do anything given a single order from above. We were the same in that we both carried out orders from our superiors. The difference was that military orders usually involved taking lives. But isn't she a maid here? Isn't she obligated to?
Oh, you haven't heard?
What?
Miss Elica doesn't serve the soldiers or research facility staff.
She seemed to be looking in the distance.
She has the duty of looking after that person exclusively.
That person. She was here. It wasn't that I doubted the Major. It was just something I couldn't easily believe. So she's really here.
I know it's unbelievable. When I heard it from the Major after I arrived a month ago, I couldn't believe it right away. But it's true. Our job is to become her shield and die should something happen.
She said that without hesitation, as though it were obvious. Xion. Huh. She nodded in silence. It was strange that he would round up someone from the Special Forces such as myself to defend this facility, but if Xion was here, that changed everything.
Well, everything starts tomorrow. We don't have any work today, so let's take it easy.
I guess I'll do just that. She was right, there was no need to be so serious. Regardless of who was here, I just had to do my job. If I were told to rest, I'd rest.
Oh, that's right, I thought of something good.
In my whole life, I have never heard anything good come out after those words.
Let's have a welcoming party for you. It'll be good, let's do it.
No, wait a second.
The dining room is no good. There's a dining room in the basement, but when chow time rolls around and the other guys stumble in, it's just a mess. Everyone ignores their surroundings and smokes up a storm. Alright. Since this is a special occasion, I'll show you to the female soldiers' quarters. Don't worry, I'm the highest ranking among the ladies, so nobody will object if I say it's okay.
There was no stopping her now. Only a few hours had passed since I first met her, but I hadn't gotten a handle on her personality for the most part.
Okay, I'll take care of the preparations. While I'm doing that, you take care of your luggage and take a shower.
And with that, Lavi left the room without waiting to hear my reply. I guess she was the type that blocked out everything around her once she had her mind set on something. She probably wasn't suited to be a commander. Although she had made it all the way to warrant officer, so she was probably still quite capable. I sighed and reached for the bag I had left on the floor. This place is quite a different environment. It looks like days far different from the military life I've grown accustomed to await me. As this premonition whirled around my heart, a sinking anxiety began to fester in the back of my mind. An end? I inquired as I faced the back of the girl loitering in front of me. For a long, long time now, it was something everyone knew since around the time great-grandfather was born. Great-grandfather? I cocked my head. I didn't even know my grandfather's face, let alone my great-grandfather's. Yes, people knew an end to this planet was drawing near long, long before you were born. What will happen once the planet ends? The people, animals, flowers, trees, all of them will die. Does that mean we will as well? I didn't want that. Mom and Dad had already passed on. We were all alone. I wanted to live here with my sister forever. I didn't want to die.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yes, everyone will die, but it is all right. You won't die. But isn't the planet ending?
Listen, I'm going to tell you something important. Something very, very important.
She didn't turn around. She just kept looking far into the distance, but merely gazing back at her back made me feel so safe.
People can fight against fate. Humans are creatures which can keep on living even if they commit a crime or end up running away. An end will invariably come to everything, no matter what it is. However, I believe people are capable of delaying that conclusion for an eternity.
I don't really get it.
Aha, that might have been a little hard for you. Sorry.
We're going to live, right?
You will live.
She looked up at the night sky and pointed toward the conspicuous red star.
One world's end is another world's beginning. All mankind has set its eyes on the next planet and it's beginning its journey.
Will we go to another planet too? She paused briefly as the wind from the mountain swept over her. It was a silence that lasted for but a moment. She began to walk slowly, the grass crunching beneath her feet.
Sis?
I want to see the end of this world right here with my own eyes. Sorry, my voice cracked. What a nostalgic dream. My heart was beating faster than I expected. I was surprised that such a wistful memory could affect me like this. I couldn't believe I remembered her. I had forgotten her face, but that gentle voice and the words she left with me still resonated in my heart. I still remember how I was always gazing up in awe at her from behind. I lifted myself from the bed and aimlessly stared at the still unfamiliar wall. It certainly seems like I'll survive if everything keeps going like this, sis. This planet will soon meet its end. It was a given, something everyone knew. It was predicted by scientists over 100 years ago, and mankind steadily made arrangements to escape this fated extinction. The Earth Evacuation Project. That was the name of the Noah's Ark which would save humanity. Mankind sought to construct giant spaceships for the sole purpose of taking everyone off the planet, away from this dying Earth, and to carve out an existence among the stars. When the plan was first drafted, politicians, the masses, they all saw it as nothing more than a fantasy. But humanity executed that exceedingly lengthy plan, and although there were hiccups along the way, the idea of escaping Earth steadily became a reality. At present, the majority of the human race had already left the planet and was sailing into the ocean of stars. Like my sister had once said, although the planet would end, the history of mankind would likely continue on, even if not everyone wishes for it. I muttered and stood up. It may have been because of that dream, but it seemed I was sweating a little. Luckily, this private room had an attached bath and toilet. I had some time before I had to be ready. I guess I'll take a shower. Oh, so you did get up. As expected, it was Warrant Officer Lavinia F. Asai who came to get me. Were you able to sleep well? I'm not picky as to where I sleep. However, I could have gotten a few more hours if you had let me leave earlier. It was no laughing matter. Labby dragged me into the normally off-limits female quarters yesterday. Oh, so this already happened. 7 or 8 other female soldiers gathered into her tiny room and screwed around until late into the night. Oh, they did? Meow. Simply put, I never experienced anything more uncomfortable. Okay then, let's get down to business. I heard my mission was to defend. Are we to be sentries? No way, that's not a job for a warrant officer. We're going to buddy up. By that you mean guarding Xiong. Of course. What, you already knew? It was nothing to be surprised about. Guarding VIPs wasn't particularly unusual, even in GAT. I had no experience acting as a guard to anyone important as Xion, but it probably wouldn't be that different in practice. Then shall we go? Our princess awaits. Pardon the intrusion. Lavi opened the door and yelled in a booming voice. I followed after her and entered the room.
Oh, good morning, Lavi, Ryou.
Morning, Miss Elica. Nice and matey again today, huh?
Nice and immaculate.
What was with their greeting?
Oh? Ryou, are you in a bad mood this morning?
Not particularly. I shook my head gently.
Then you must be sure to give a proper greeting. Promise your big sister that you'll do that from now on.
Yeah, morning. Of course, I'd usually give a normal greeting. I just wasn't sure how to deal with someone as unusual as Elica.
Yes, good morning.
I didn't know what in the world she was so happy about, but Elica was smiling sweetly.
Will you be a guard for us from now on, Ryou?
Looks like it. You're Shion's aide, correct?
I am her exclusive maid.
I see. Was it a particular request from Shion that she serve as something as antiquated as a maid? So, where is the lady of the house?
Shion's work area and bedroom are just beyond that door.
I noticed there was one other door aside from the entrance we came through.
But...
Her expression suddenly dimmed.
Entry into that room is expressly prohibited.
What?
I'm sorry, but Major Naba and I are the only ones who may enter her work area.
Are you telling us to guard her without allowing us to check the room or even meet her?
Shion does not like appearing before others. I think it is very unlikely she would come out on her own.
I gave Lavi a fleeting glance. She simply gave a small nod of approval as though she'd accepted it. I suppose I don't mind. If the person we're guarding is going to stay put, then it'll be easy on us as well.
I really am sorry, Ryou. Shion has a bit of a selfish side.
Elica's cheerful expression returned quickly yet again, and she gave a small bow. By the way, I haven't met her yet either. That being the case, we just have to keep watch in front of this door. This certainly does sound like an easy job, just as you said. I had no reason to lie. To tell the truth, I was a bit irked that the person I was guarding wouldn't even introduce herself, but a soldier's job was to obey. By the way, we'll be working 3 shifts when guarding her. As a rule, each shift consists of 2 guards. Just 2? Why so few? I would hope for at least 5 people to deal with any unforeseeable situations.
That would be another selfish request of hers. She said she did not want any more guards than necessary.
Well, that certainly is selfish. She's like a princess. She is a princess. Huh? In this place, she's the princess and we're her royal guard, so to speak. She's a bit lacking in class, though. You could also call her our savior, but there is the matter of her appearance. So princess is fitting, don't you think? I see. If it were Shion, then a little selfishness would naturally be permitted. The Earth Evacuation Project. She was none other than the mastermind behind the project which saved humanity from destruction. Whoa, okay, that's a big reveal right there. So I actually think I'm gonna save it right there. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the little twists and turns that happened. So like I said, thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!